Welcome to the stream. So much to talk about. We're actually, tomorrow, the entire broadcast show is going to be an in-depth interview with Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. Much anticipated. We received something like, I want to say about 350 or so questions across all platforms for me to talk to Dave Rubin about tomorrow. We will have him for the entire hour of the broadcast show, and then we will release that interview starting tomorrow afternoon. Okay, so we confirmed with Dave earlier today, and that's going to be a major thing tomorrow. A lot of people want to know, is Dave Rubin conservative now? What is Dave Rubin's view on X, Y, Z? Why did Dave Rubin say A, B, C? And it's going to be a format where I'm going to be able to ask him those questions. So thanks to, again, 350 people submitting questions. And my prediction is this will be a compelling and interesting, wide-ranging interview. Okay, so that's tomorrow on the program. Now, as a result of that, all of our sort of regular news stories tomorrow are going to get pushed to the bonus show tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about a couple of these things today to sort of preview what it is that we're going to be talking about. There is a breaking story that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is already considering resignation from the Donald J. Trump administration. And it has everything to do, reportedly, there's an article in The Hill about this, it has everything to do with the recent comments from Donald Trump criticizing Attorney General Jeff Sessions, saying, I don't know why Sessions recused himself on Trump-Russia. If I had known he was going to recuse himself on Trump-Russia, I wouldn't have hired him in the first place. And this revelation from Rex Tillerson is absolutely stunning, because look at what you have had so far in the first 6 months of the Trump administration. You've seen the forced resignation in shame of National Security Advisor Michael Flynn for connections to and lies about Russia and other foreign foreign countries, and endless scandal. You've seen the resignation of the White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, supposedly because of the hiring of Anthony Scaramucci as director of White House communications, although it is very hard for me to believe that that's the real reason. Maybe the straw that broke the camel's back, but come on. I mean, that's what got him to quit. Seems he wanted an out. You are now talking about potentially Donald Trump trying to push Jeff Sessions towards resignation, which would potentially allow Donald Trump to install someone there as Attorney General at the Justice Department who would not be recused on issues related to Russia, which seems increasingly important for Trump, as we have now learned that Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller is investigating Donald Trump's personal business dealings and finances as part of his investigation into Trump-Russia. So you've got resignation of Flynn, resignation of Sean Spicer, possible upcoming resignation of Jeff Sessions. Now you've got the Secretary of State, the top diplomat of the United States president around the world, saying he's thinking of resignation as well. And you've already had James Comey fired. You've got possibly this possibility of looking to fire Robert Mueller. You've had Donald Trump already talking about pardoning himself or family members or aides with his lawyers. His personal lawyer, Mark Kasowitz, has stepped away from leading the legal team when it comes to Trump-Russia. Apparently still an attorney, but it's sort of a complex thing. There is no way at this point that it can even be remotely justified that there's nothing to see here, and this is a normal administration, and there is no scandal. And if indeed Rex Tillerson were to resign, what's next, right? I mean, is it Alex Jones, Secretary of State, who is going to investigate fluoride turning frogs gay, or whatever the case may be? And to be perfectly honest with you, when I read about Spicer's resigning because Scaramucci is White House comms director, or Rex Tillerson might resign because Trump criticizing Jeff Sessions is unprofessional, it's really hard to believe that these are the only reasons, right? It sort of seems like it's possible that these are being taken as opportunities to get the hell out of Dodge. But, you know, now all of a sudden Tillerson thinks Trump is unprofessional because he criticized Jeff Sessions in a New York Times interview. Look at everything that has been happening for the last 6 months. And it is absolutely stunning that this is what we're dealing with. And before we dig into this further, if this is your first live stream that you're watching, participating in, these are live streams that are live in the sense that I'm talking to you right now. And you can participate if you want, which relates to item number 2 on our list, which is that Super Chat is on. Super Chat is the $sign at the bottom of the chat window. If you would like to ask a question and have me respond, if you have a comment that you want me to read and then potentially respond to, you can use the $sign at the bottom of the chat window. It is called Super Chat. Press the $sign. That's it. Sometimes people unsure what to do with the $sign. You just click it, tap it, and you will be able to Super Chat. Number 3, any new members or patrons during the live stream will get live shout-outs and thank yous from me. davidpakman.com/membership for membership, patreon.com/davidpakmanshow for Patreon. By the way, we started this live stream just 4 patrons short of our short-term target of 1,800 patrons. Let's just get to 1,800, right? Let's do it. If we get to 1,800 patrons, I will create and announce a live stream only 50% discount code for membership. We're only 4 patrons away. $1 from 4 different people will get us to 1,800 patrons. And believe me, folks, believe me, I will create and announce a 40% discount code if we can make that happen. And lastly, obvious trolling and hate will get you banned. It is stunning. We are only 6 minutes and 45 seconds roughly into this stream. And multiple people have already been blocked. Multiple people have been blocked. And in fact, I'm blocking someone right now. Bye-bye. Block button is free. The moderators have been fully deputized to use their judgment in conjunction with the direction I've given in terms of blocking and banning people. It's just don't do it. Just don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I will get to Super Chats shortly, and we will do thank yous and all of that stuff upcoming. Another major bit of news. We did a story on the regular show today, and I don't know if we have already published this clip or if it's going live shortly. So Sean Spicer resigned over the weekend because Anthony Scaramucci was hired as director of communications for the White House. This guy's a total joke, Scaramucci. Long history of criticizing Trump, then started feverishly deleting anti-Trump tweets from his Twitter account in order to scrub his internet history. He shows up on CNN with Jake Tapper, and he says, hey, I have a source. I've got an anonymous source that told me it might not have been Russia that hacked us, because if Russia did it, we would never know because Russia's good enough not to put their fingerprints on hacking. And Jake Tapper pressed Anthony Scaramucci and said, well, hold on a second. An anonymous source? I mean, who is that? Who is that that's telling you this? Must be some expert in cybersecurity. And Anthony Scaramucci admitted it was Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who was amazed at how much his 10-year-old kid Barron knew about computers, said, if Russia did this, we would know. Interesting. It has now leaked that Vladimir Putin told that to Donald Trump. Think about the flow, the path that this information has taken. We hear on national news from the director of communications from the White House that a source told him, if Russia did it, they're good enough that we wouldn't know. Pressed, he admits it was actually President Trump who told me that. Well, we know President Trump is clueless when it comes to technology and cybersecurity, but still, who planted that idea in his head? It turns out, according to a new report from the New York Times, that it was Vladimir Putin himself who told Donald Trump, listen, if we had done it, our fingerprints wouldn't be on it. Thus, it's fake. You are meant to be tricked into thinking that we did the hacking, because if we really did the hacking, you wouldn't actually know it. Put aside all the other stuff about Trump Russia, right? What we have de facto is a White House that goes on national news and makes arguments, cites talking points that they got from the Russian leader. Whatever you want to say about we'll find out about this collusion or we won't find out about that collusion or X is fake news or Y is fake news, whatever the case may be, we have a president who got a talking point from Vladimir Putin and then gave it to the director of White House communications, who then went on national corporate media and tried to defend the indefensible, which is that for whatever reason, they still aren't sure that what all of our intelligence agencies believe happened is what happened. The Russian president is directly transmitting talking points through corporate media interviews. That's what we've got. And that's why at this point, and I said this on the program today, if you had total innocence from the Trump team on everything related to Russia, these people are idiots. Why would you constantly lie? Why would you constantly parrot Russian talking points? Why would you do everything since being inaugurated that Vladimir Putin would want you to do if you're completely innocent? Why would you be talking about pardoning yourself and your kids and associates if you're completely innocent? If these people are innocent, they are the dumbest innocent people that I have ever heard of or seen or read about, period. And that is increasingly the sort of unexplainable, the unintelligible. We have no realistic thought as to why so-called innocent people are lying and acting in what could not possibly be a more obviously suspicious way. And the Rex Tillerson resignation, if it happens, believe me, folks, it is going to be stunning. Absolutely stunning. We're 6 months in. We're 6 months in at this point, okay? All right. Let's get to some super chats here. We've got a $5 super chat from Repentant Gamer. Will you challenge Dave Rubin on his economic views? Based on what I've heard from him, he doesn't seem to know much. You have better economic knowledge by far. I plan to talk with Dave Rubin about the idea of how classical liberalism is an ideology that is being sort of it's a box that increasingly people are checking, and I think many of those people don't have any clue what classical liberalism is. I think many people have no idea how conservative classical liberalism is, and in talking about that, I am absolutely going to be referencing what a classical liberal would believe about free markets, about trade, about healthcare. Right? So I think that economics is absolutely going to be part of my interview with Dave Rubin, which gets me to my next super chat, a $2 super chat from Double X Shamaica, who said, when are you going to talk to Dave Rubin? So if you missed the very top of the live stream, tomorrow, okay, Tuesday, July 25th, as of right now, the plan is the entire broadcast show on our 200 radio and television stations and on DirecTV and Dish Network will be a one-on-one, an in-depth one-on-one with Dave Rubin, host of the Rubin Report. There's a lot to talk about, and over 350 questions have been submitted by you through the Reddit discussion forum thread about this, through social media, through a number of different venues. So that's the plan. We're going to do an entire hour with Dave Rubin, and then the normal stories will be on tomorrow's bonus show. So yet additional incentive. Not only is the bonus show absolutely tremendous, but tomorrow the bonus show will be where the regular stories are, and you can sign up at davidpakman.com/membership. And on that note, let me say a few thank yous. So the context, before I even do the thank yous, the context is we're getting crushed on YouTube. Okay, long story short, I wish I had some other way to explain this to you, but I don't. We are getting destroyed on YouTube. We've lost 85% of our YouTube ad revenue. Okay, and this started after a really strong start around the red number 1 on this image at the beginning of the year. We initially lost 99% of our YouTube revenue when what's known as the YouTube advertiser boycott started. Now, I don't even want to rehash everything that is, because many of you have heard it. But if you want to learn more about it and how it's crushing us, there's a New York Times article about the David Pakman Show, how YouTube's shifting algorithms hurt independent media. There's also another article in Wired, Want a Better Web? Here's an Idea, Pay for It. These are two articles that you can find at davidpakman.com/press. That will catch you up on the YouTube ad boycott. But the trajectory has been, we lost 99% of YouTube ad revenue. It looked like things were starting to improve, as you see, trending up from number 2 to 3 into sort of early May, late May, and then just falling off a cliff again at the end of June. And we've had about another month of what I would call full crisis mode. And this appears to be the new normal, okay? I mean, I wish I could tell you that this was going to get better. There is no indication at this point that we are going to ever earn anything more than roughly 15% of what we used to be earning on our YouTube channel. This is why, and I want to keep doing long-form interviews, long-form deep dives. We've got a mini-series planned on critical thinking. I want to be doing all of this stuff. I don't want this to affect us, which is why we are really talking about membership and financial contributions and making up the lost revenue. So if you want a membership, you get the bonus show, you get the commercial-free all-access pass. You can go to davidpakman.com/membership, $6 a month, $60 a year. This is mostly how we're funded, okay? I mean, it's through our audience. If you want a discount off of membership, you can use the coupon code IVoted17. And on that note, I want to send a huge thank you to Denise Barnett, who has just signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. Denise, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Also signing up, just while we've been chatting here, are Justin Pryor. Justin Pryor has signed up, as well as Matthew Martinez and Beverly Smith, all of whom have signed up at davidpakman.com/membership. Thank you. I mean, genuinely, thank you. You're helping to solve the YouTube ad problem. And in addition to that, we have a Patreon page. Patreon is not like membership in that it's just way simpler, okay? You can throw in $1 or $2 a month. You don't have to worry about, how to access extra content. If you're already busy enough that you couldn't even watch more of our show, but you want to support a little bit of the work we're doing and sort of counteract the destructive effect of the YouTube ad boycott, you go to patreon.com/davidpakmanshow. You can just throw in $1 a month. And what I can tell you is two things. Number one, we are 4 patrons away from hitting 1,800. Help me get to 1,800, okay, which is our next pit stop on the way to 2,000. If you can get us to 1,800 patrons, and it doesn't matter how much you contribute, by the end of this live stream, which really, folks, we should be able to do, I will create a secret membership discount code, a 50% off code, and I will tell you what that code is here on the stream and not anywhere else, okay? And then you will be able to sign up for membership at half price. That's if we can get to just 1,800 patrons. And I know it's a pain when we talk about this stuff. It's a pain when if we had to adjust our program because of the funding crisis, I can assure you that would be more of a pain. So help us make that up, and we'll continue to produce all the great stuff that we want to keep producing. Ilya Levin has sent a $5 super chat asking, why is taking money out of politics become a mostly progressive issue? Shouldn't this be an agenda that other political ideologies can support? Well, yes and no. I mean, if you're what would be called a full libertarian, you would see taking money out of politics as not the free market. The total libertarian perspective would be don't get involved in any way in how politics can be funded. If people have money they want to contribute, let them contribute the money. If companies have money they want to contribute, let them contribute the money. And so it actually is not really, if you have any sense of ethics, fairness, and justice, then you would understand the importance of taking money out of politics. If you want to stop the rampant corruption, not all of it, but part of it, that is inherent in our political system, then you would be behind taking money out of politics. But if your priority is, I don't want any regulation, period, of anything financial, whatever, governmental, then no, you wouldn't care about taking money out of politics, because you would say, hey, people who are able to donate should be allowed to donate whatever it is that they want. So I think it's sad that it is overwhelmingly a progressive issue. And by the way, Ilya, it's on many issues, I've talked about this. There are so many issues where Democrats and Republicans are very, very different. Unfortunately, money out of politics is overwhelmingly a progressive issue, but it is not something that corporate Democrats, or Democrats Inc., as I like to say, are taking a huge interest in. And really, any establishment politician that was put into power by the system that we currently have, why would they want to change that system? They're in power because of that system. Why would they say, hey, let's break the system that got us here so that soon we'll be gone? It doesn't really make any sense, right? So I think that it's true that it is a progressive issue, but it is not an issue that Democrats are completely united behind, and that's sad, incredibly sad, and very low energy. Ryan Alexander has sent a $5 super chat saying, what's the status on the Progressive Action Coordinator idea from the January fundraiser? Are you still considering it, and what would that look like? Yeah, so listen, we did a fundraiser in January, and we were short of our total fundraising goal. So we've been able to do some of the things so far that we were raising money for, including significant studio improvements and a number of other changes. My initial idea was, okay, we fell short of the total fundraising goal. Maybe we can combine a new marketing position with the Progressive Engagement Coordinator, as I was calling it, and go about it that way and make it one position rather than two separate positions. Then, when we were very close to making that hire, then the YouTube advertiser boycott hit, and then the focus was hiring new people. Hold on a second. We've got to make up the money that we just lost. Initially, 99% loss. And ultimately now we are down about 85%. So it's just on hold, right? I mean, if some combination of, if we had hit the full fundraising goal back in January, or if we had not experienced the YouTube adpocalypse advertiser boycott, then we probably would have done that for now. But now, before we can look at additional hiring, we need to make up the lost YouTube revenue. We've got to get, the financial situation in order. But still something that I think is hugely important, Ryan, and I've by no means forgotten about it. It's just had to be postponed for the reasons I mentioned. Chunky Lover 539 has sent a $2 Australian super chat. Saying, just got here, what have I missed? Well, I mentioned that tomorrow we will be talking to Dave Rubin for the full hour on the broadcast program. We will be talking about a lot of different things. We are going to be talking about classical liberalism. We are going to be talking about his politics. We will be talking about the Rubin report. We will be talking about Dave's interview style. We will be talking about Donald Trump and so many other things. And viewers have already submitted 350 questions for that interview. We will not get to 350 questions, but we will get to some of them. I have also told you that the latest news is that we now have Secretary of State Rex Tillerson considering resigning as a result of the unprofessionalism that he has attributed to Trump's criticism of Jeff Sessions in a recent New York Times interview. And in addition to that, we've learned that Anthony Scaramucci's claim that came from Donald Trump that if Russia hacked, we wouldn't know it because they're so good at it, that actually came from Vladimir Putin. So we now have Trump associates publicly on corporate media parroting talking points that originated with Russian President Vladimir Putin. We did some super chats. I talked about the YouTube apocalypse situation. That's basically it, Chunky Lover, okay? So I think that more or less gets us caught up on in terms of what we've been talking about so far. And on that note, let me do a couple more thank yous. We are in the middle of a major David Pakman Show membership drive. We have a coupon code, I voted 17, and we have a brand new member, William McDonald. William, thank you. Thank you so much for being a David Pakman Show member. William has signed up on our website. He has entered the coupon code, I voted 17, and as a result, he has saved 40% off of membership, which is a pretty big deal. You get 100% of the benefits, but you don't pay full price, which is a beautiful thing for a lot of people. Also signing up just now on our website is Maxwell Hetzel. Max Hetzel, thank you so much for signing up. Julian Hunt is a new David Pakman Show member. And David Tapper. David Tapper, unclear if there's any relationship to Jake Tapper. But indeed, we have a new member with that last name. And for that, I think we can all be very, very glad. I think for every member, we can all be glad. And and Amy Carney signing up as well. As I was about to move off of that topic, I will remind you, if you're interested in a 50% discount off of membership, if we get to 1,800 patrons at patreon.com/David Pakman Show, that's only 4 more, okay? If 4 people contribute as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/David Pakman Show, I will create and release a 50% discount code for membership. And Patreon is the most direct and simple path to making up for that lost ad revenue that we've had. 4 people, and we will release a 50% discount code. Let's go back to some more super chats. Jacob Young has sent a $5 super chat. How do you think media should go about differentiating the difference between real news and propaganda? Well, I'm not sure I totally understand the question. How should media differentiate between real news and propaganda? I guess you're talking about media reports about other news. Let me answer it a little more generally, since I'm not exactly sure what the exact question is. I think that many corporate media outlets have deliberately blurred the lines between news and opinion journalism, so that many people are watching opinion journalism and believe that it is news reporting of some kind, and assume that things have sort of been fact-checked in the same way that a New York Times report on a particular event has been fact-checked. And that is, it's deliberate, and Fox News has become very, very good at that. InfoWars has become very good at that. I make clear with our program, we're doing an opinion show, which is my opinion and analysis, and it's based on reports that have come from elsewhere. So what I do is, we have a number of media outlets that we no longer use as sources because I find that they are either propagandistic or just simply unreliable. So we have reduced the list of sources, maybe not reduced, but I guess we've sort of fine-tuned, we've refined the list of sources that we use as source articles. We no longer use these article farms that are basically taking like a New York Times article and rewriting it. We no longer source to the extent that we're able any of those news sites. And I think this sort of has to happen at the individual media outlet level. Okay, Jacob. Chris Cull has sent a $2 super chat saying, Pakman Show has always been the shit. Hi to Lewis. All right, well, I'm sure Lewis appreciates that. I saw Lewis over the weekend at a wedding, and he was doing great. He was doing great. He actually gave a speech at the wedding, and it was quite good. And he communicated to me at the end of the wedding that his experience on the David Pakman Show was instrumental in him being comfortable giving that speech, and he prepared a pretty good speech, I must say. Boxy Brown has sent a $5 super chat. What's up with the snare drum and practice pad behind you? Do you play the drums? Also, have you ever watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Do you like it? I do play the drums because I live in an apartment. I can't really have like a full acoustic drum set here. So I have a snare drum, small snare drum. I think that's only I think it's a 5-inch deep snare drum. And I put, actually it's 3 practice pads on top of it. So with the 3 practice pads, I can keep the snares on, and it still has a little bit of that snare feel and sound, but it is very quiet. So yeah, I play drums. I played in a band when I lived in Brooklyn, etc., etc. I have seen probably 30 seconds of Aqua Teen Hunger Force in my life. I don't remember if I liked it. I don't remember if I liked it, but it was It was okay. I mean, I don't know. The animation was cool. I liked the look of it, but I just not into it. I'm into few cartoons. I like Archer. Bob's Burgers isn't bad, and of course, friend of the show, Sam Cedar is a couple of voices now in Bob's Burgers. I've been a big Family Guy fan for a while, Simpsons fan for a long time. Yeah. Okay. Lyle Frappier has sent a $2 Canadian super chat. Scaramucci's integrity lasted one day. LOL. Hashtag hey Pat. Yeah, Scaramucci, I mean, it lasted hours. It lasted just a few hours, I would say, at this point. And immediately, I mean, just laughable, completely and totally laughable, completely unqualified. And I actually think Scaramucci could do quite a bit of damage because he's erratic. The guy is a live wire, and he seems completely out of control. He'll say almost anything at any time. And I think that I'm hoping that he will do some serious damage to the Trump administration, which, of course, the headline for this live stream that Secretary of State Rex Tillerson is thinking of resigning, that could do some pretty damn big damage to the Trump administration as well. XX Shameka sent a $2 super chat saying you should talk some sense into Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what you have in mind. I don't know that Sargon is particularly interested in appearing on the show anytime soon. If he were, I would probably want to do it like as a YouTube only thing because my YouTube audience is very keyed in to who Sargon of Akkad is. My radio audience, probably not. I would be shocked if my radio and television and DirecTV audience has any idea who Sargon is. So I would be glad to talk to Sargon, depending on what the topic is. You know, I would obviously want to figure out what we would talk about. Would be glad to do it. I don't know that he's super interested in that. He's big time now. I don't think he needs the likes of the David Pakman show anymore. Garrett North has sent a $10 super chat. David, I just became a Patreon. Hope this helps too. Thank you, Garrett. And it is a patron. You are a Patreon patron. Yeah, thank you very much. And I guess I might as well at this point get to the thank yous just so I can get caught up. We are trying to get to 1,800 Patreon patrons by the end of the stream. We are now at 1,798. So we have closed the gap by 50%. We are trying to get to 1,800 patrons by the end of the day. Well, I don't know which name was used by the super chatter Garrett North, but what I'm seeing is that Terry Lemon has just pledged $2 a month on patreon.com/David Pakman Show, and Jeremy Levy has pledged $2 a month at patreon.com/David Pakman Show. Please, please, please help us get there. We are looking for 1,800 patrons by the end of the live stream. And if we do that, and I'm optimistic we're going to do it, if we get to 1,800 patrons by the end of the live stream, I will create and release only to you a 50%. And you know what? Let's go really crazy. I will create and release to you a 55% membership discount code, which will be good only until midnight tonight. I won't tell any of my other viewers about it. It will just be here on the live stream, and you will then be able to get a membership at a 55% discount, which I think, trust me, folks, you folks will really like it. I think you will absolutely, really, really like it. So again, if you still want to get your questions in and you missed this, tomorrow on the broadcast show, we're going to have Dave Rubin for the full hour, okay? Dave Rubin, host of Rubin Report, will be my full show guest tomorrow. All topics will be on the table. His classical liberalism, the Rubin Report, his interviewing technique of not being particularly argumentative, which not everybody likes. I don't know. Everything is on the table. If you still have questions, there's a Reddit discussion thread, which is currently stickied at the top of davidpakman.com/Reddit. You will note that it has at this point 235 comments and growing almost by the minute. And if you have any questions, I am keeping an eye on that thread, so rest assured that it will be reviewed. You can put in your question for Dave Rubin there. And I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be an eye-opening experience. I know that you know that my interview style is not the same as Dave Rubin's. And I think that we will hopefully... what I want to do is get clarity on what are Dave's politics right now. Like when he says he's a classical liberal, what does that mean? Is classical liberalism more progressive or more conservative? I think you know my feelings about that. So that's going to be absolutely tremendous. And also I want to tell you, as far as what's upcoming on the program, because we've got just absolutely tremendous stuff upcoming on the show. We have David Pakman's show Summer Vacation coming up, okay? And don't worry, we're still 2-3 weeks away from it. But we are working on some awesome stuff for you guys for that vacation, because we're going to keep releasing new content. You know how now it's popular for people on the right to say, oh, the left is so violent. Everybody on the left is so violent, they're hurting people, and it's really the left that turns to violence to try to solve political problems. We've got a tremendous piece on the myth of the violent left and the truly violent right. It is incredibly well sourced. It is incredibly well edited, and we had our intern Brian work on this. We have producer Noah Ferguson working on it. Pat's involved in everything that we do on the show, so it's been a team effort to get that done. We have in production right now a long-form piece on classical liberalism. I think you are going to love this piece, particularly it's going to come out in the wake of tomorrow's Dave Rubin interview. And that one is about 75-80% done. We are in the editing phase right now. We have a completely, just an amazingly well-researched piece on voter fraud and voter suppression. The right says in-person voter fraud is a major problem. The facts say it's not, but we know that it's being used as a pretext by the right to continue. We've also got, oh no, it looks like I got disconnected there for a second. Did anybody see that? I got a message that we were that the stream went dead for a second, but I think we're back. We still here? Can people see me? It's showing live on my end. Stream's back up. Okay, good. Stream's back up. I'll continue. So anyway, we've got the voter suppression piece. A talking point from some is socialism has never worked. People who say that understand very little. Now, I am not a socialist. I am a social democrat. I sort of favor social democracy. However, if we're really going to have a conversation about economic models, we should understand what those models are. In other words, the difference between socialism and communism, for example, and really understand if these catchphrases, oh, it's never worked, are those true? And we've got a piece coming up on that. And then lastly, we've got an upcoming investigation into race and IQ, which is a subject that's been sort of forced into the limelight lately. And we also have a awesome critical thinking mini-series that is about 75% of the way done in terms of the scripting, and then we still have to do the production on it. So a lot of this stuff is funded directly, by members and patrons, and it's really, really good stuff, and I'm glad that we're able to do more of it. And this was one of the goals of our January fundraiser. That January fundraiser was short of its goal, but at the same time, we were still able to do more things as a result of that. So that's all really, really good. Okay, super chats. Lyle Frappier sent a $5 Canadian super chat. Realistically, how would it go down if Trump was to be removed from office? We wake up one day and he's gone. Is there a process besides impeachment? Well, impeachment would be one process. Resignation would be another. Yeah, I mean, on a particular day, Trump would be gone, and it would be fascinating. And you know what? I don't know that it's actually the best thing. And I've talked about why before, so I won't rehash that. But being scandal-ridden for the next 3.5 years might actually be the best thing in terms of preventing any kind of whacked out right-wing agenda. Floppy Kid sent a $5 Canadian super chat saying, any thoughts on the recent troubling developments with Jill Stein? Too soon to judge. Yeah, I'm waiting. I've been talking with our production team about at some point we might have to cover Jill Stein and Russia, because Jill Stein appears to also have some troubling connections to Russia. And we've not talked about it because it was a very speculative case, but that case is becoming stronger and stronger on a regular basis. And at some point, Floppy, we may have to dig into Jill Stein and Russia. Google it if you're not sure what's going on, but it's pretty interesting stuff. Brian Poitras has sent a $10 super chat with no question or comment. Chunky Lover 539 has sent a $2 Australian super chat saying, Woot just became a patron. Thank you. I will check in on Patreon very soon. Brian Poitras coming back again with a $10 super chat. Chris Wallace confronts and crushes Anthony Scaramucci on Trump's hypocrisy. In this video, Anthony Scaramucci calls Trump one of the most effective communicators of all time. What is your take? My take is Donald Trump has been an effective communicator to a very particular group of people, and it has worked enough to get him into the White House. And for that, hey, all power to him. What happens next may not be something he can talk his way out of. We will see. We've got a $2 super chat from GameFire74. Ideas to identify and encourage non-voters to vote. Okay, here's one technique that I've found is really effective for encouraging people who don't care about voting to vote. Often the conversation will go like this. Oh, you don't vote? Why not? Well, politicians don't care about what I think. My vote doesn't change anything. That's interesting. What do you care about? Well, I care about the environment. Oh, that's interesting. What do our elected officials think about the environment? I don't really know. I mean, I guess maybe some of them care about it and some of them don't. Oh, that's interesting. What do you think would happen if every single one of our elected officials did care about the environment? I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. Really? Do you think if we had 100% of our elected officials taking climate change seriously instead of just whatever percent it is, 45%, I don't know, do you think that might make a difference if we doubled the number of people who are representing us who care about the environment? I guess that might make a difference. Oh, that's interesting. So do you think maybe it actually does matter who we have in there? Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it that way. You can apply that conversation to just about any issue. And that's just one example, right? GameFire, but there are many other similar types of conversations you can have, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit more. Jake W22 sent a $5 super chat. All else equal, who do you think would be more dangerous as president, Trump or Mike Pence? Okay, I get heat every time I address this because I've said many times, Pence would not be as scandal-ridden, and he would start getting stuff done because he would unify Republicans and things would start to happen. In almost every way, Donald Trump is less dangerous than Pence in that many of his ideas are just never going to happen, and the constant scandal prevents him from getting anything done. There is one area where I believe Donald Trump is way more dangerous than Mike Pence. Mike Pence would crush him when it comes to actually getting stuff done. But as Donald Trump's approval rating continues to trickle down, as he feels the pressure of Robert Mueller continuing to investigate more and more deeply what it is that he is doing and has done, he might erratically do something completely irreversible and in terms of military action against a country. And I believe that on that front, Mike Pence would be way more restrained, and that's my sense. I don't know where that puts me in the net. Frank McWright has sent a $20 super chat. Please let Pat know rabbits are not rodents. Yeah, this is related to today's bonus show, which Frank gets access to because he is a David Pakman Show member, and you could know what he's talking about. Anyway, I didn't think rabbits were rodents. Pat insisted that they were, and since I didn't know, I let him know. I said, okay, well, that must be the case. I will let him know, Frank, that rabbits are not rodents. And if you're curious what that conversation is about, I will say no more. You will have to sign up at davidpakman.com/membership and become a member. And on that note, I do have very, very exciting news, which is that a number of people, I would say any number of people, have continued to sign up for membership while we've been talking here. I just want to say thank you to them just to ensure that nobody's support goes unthanked. Rex Fowler, thank you, Rex. You have signed up and started to chip away at the YouTube adpocalypse's damaging effects. Jonathan Nieves has signed up. Charles, there's two names here. Charles Williams, okay, interesting. Signed up. One thing says Charles O'Connor, but then the other thing says Charles Williams. In any case, let's go with Charles Williams. Charles Williams has signed up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. You can sign up for membership at davidpakman.com/membership. And if you want the discount code, you just type in I voted 17. And I have major breaking news with regard to my Patreon challenge, okay? We have surpassed the 1,800 patron mark. And I promised that if we got to 1,800 patrons by the end of the live stream, I would create and release just for you a coupon code that will save you 55% off of membership. Well, Melinda Mitchell has pledged $1 a month on Patreon. Lane Winter has pledged $1 a month on Patreon. Mauricio Gonzalez, who also goes by Chunky Lover 539, has pledged $2 a month on Patreon. Shane Winter has pledged $2 a month on Patreon. And just to be nice, Shoal Shameka has increased their pledge from $2 a month to $5 a month on Patreon. So on that note, I am going to create a coupon code right now, which will give you a 55% discount off of membership. This is a big league discount. What would be a funny code to create here? Maybe something related to recent news. I'm not sure what would be a funny coupon code. We've had some pretty funny ones. What about something Cobb Fefe related? Yeah, let's just do something Cobb Fefe. Keep it simple. I am creating a coupon code. This coupon code will be incredibly useful to you. I am going to type it into the chat, and I am putting in 55% discount code. It is Cobb Fefe 55. Cobb Fefe 55, all one word, all lowercase, no spaces. COVFEFE 55. That gives you a 50% discount off of your membership. This coupon will expire, and it will expire at midnight tonight. So you have about just over 5 hours. The coupon code is Cobb Fefe 55, and by all means, have at it, folks. Victor Savell has sent a $10 super chat. Hi, David. How are you planning to continue your efforts on supporting net neutrality? Do you have any news on the current standing on the possible outcome of the FCC bill? Great work, as always. We have been and will continue to talk about net neutrality because it is an issue of, to call it paramount importance, would sort of be an understatement. And like campaign finance reform, net neutrality is, I don't have to get into it. Most of you probably understand already, just hugely, hugely important. And we're going to keep talking about it, and I'll keep calling my elected officials, and we'll do everything we can, Victor. Eritro Pathak, or Paythak, has sent a $2 super chat asking, what are your favorite restaurants in Waltham, Massachusetts? Well, sadly, Eritro, I went to graduate school in Waltham, Massachusetts at the great school, Bentley University. And I could not tell you a single Waltham restaurant that I like. Because I know very few of them, and I've not been to any particularly good ones. So rather than disparage any restaurants or name restaurants that I don't really think are good, because I take restaurant recommendations incredibly seriously, I will remain silent on that issue. Thank you. Gina Chase has sent a $5 super chat, no question or comment. Thank you very much. Frank McWright has sent a $20 super chat saying, for your information, I almost missed the live broadcast because YouTube did not notify me. Normally, I get a notification on the bell icon in the top right, an email and an iPhone notification. I got lucky today. That's weird, Frank, because I'm signed up to those same notifications. And yeah, I got them. I just looked at my email and I received them. So it must have been some kind of an error or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Frank. But yes, please be notified of all of our live streams and new videos. You can use the bell button on our YouTube channel, and you can select to be notified when we go live, when new videos are uploaded, etc., etc. And yeah, that's absolutely major. And wow, people are really taking advantage of the coupon code that we just released. At the beginning of the live stream, I issued a challenge, and that challenge was, if we can get to 1,800 patrons at patreon.com/David Pakman Show, my promise to the audience was I would create and release a 55% discount coupon code. That coupon code has been released. It is COBFEFI55, COBFEFI55. And as a result, we've already got Carl Collins, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the code. We've got Joshua Coleman, who has signed up at davidpakman.com/membership using the coupon code. To give you a sense of what 55% off is, if you select the $6 a month membership and use the coupon code COBFEFI55, which will be good until midnight tonight, midnight Pacific, I believe it is, that makes your monthly membership $2.70. For $2.70, you will get the bonus show as well as the commercial-free audio and video streams of the show. If you decide to go with the yearly 55% discount membership, you switch over to the $60 a year membership, you type in COBFEFI55, and that gives you a 55% discount. You're talking about $27 a year. That's $2.25 per month. And that is good until midnight. So, folks, people are telling me this is the best coupon code, and who doesn't love COBFEFI? And Victoria Pollock has also just signed up using that coupon code, and the super chats continue to roll in. Let's get to some of those. Frank McWright sending another $20 super chat. Frank is a known David Pakman Show super chat all-star. He's known to authorities as far as I'm aware of. It also reintroduced super chat to me as if I have never done them, and we all know that I have. So there might be some broader thing going on with your account, Frank, where somehow your preferences may have been cleared. Yeah, that's weird. Gina Chase following up with a $2 super chat, no question or comment. Thank you very much. And then we have Victor Savell, also a super chat all-star. $10 super chat. Just wanted to mention how much I admire your work. I will have a segment on my nightly stream tonight about your excellent work. Not much, but the best I can do. Thanks, Victor. I really appreciate that. And all recommendations to support independent media are valuable recommendations and really appreciated recommendations. And I can't thank you enough. I mean, genuinely, anything that anybody can do to support our work is appreciated. And on that note, the new members are just flying in. We've got Russell Stone, who has signed up using the exclusive July 24th COBFEFI discount code, which is COBFEFI55, getting a $2.70 a month membership. Nice, Russell. Peter Kowalski has signed up using the coupon code, and so has Casper Jansen. Thanks to all of you. Very, very much appreciated. And on that note, we are going to call it, because I've got to go prepare for my full hour with Dave Rubin tomorrow. I want to be fully prepared, and I want to review everybody's comments, questions, suggestions, etc. So use the coupon code. Keep it going. It's good until midnight, and then it's gone. Gone into the ether, like the ephemera of Sean Spicer, which now are also gone. Thanks for joining me. Big interview tomorrow with Dave Rubin.